Gearing out, it matters. It's always the thing that we're pushing. You got to push your item level higher. You always got to keep getting that gear, right? Getting that loot. Well, getting loot right now is kind of easy. This is the fastest way to gear out not only your main, but your alts in the War Within Season 1. Here we go. Let's see what Dalaran has to say about how to push our item levels up to 620.
Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. With the launch of Season 1 content, everybody is going to be focusing on their main character at the start of a new expansion. But now, after a couple of weeks of Season 1, I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with my main, the Rogue, where I'm at a point where I can fill out my Great Vault with +10 dungeons regularly. Tier 8 and above difficulties delves are no issue, and a few of the earlier raid bosses are easy to re-clear on Mythic difficulty, which leaves me with less time doing sweaty grinds on the main and more time enjoying and gearing up my alts.
Honestly, the thing that I'm still grinding out on my main is flight stones. They're not called valor stones now, right? Something like that. I don't have enough of them. I need more all the time. I can't push all my item level, all my gear up to their maximum item level yet because I'm lacking so much on those. So that's still what I'm grinding here. That's why we're going to full clear normal today.
Expansion offers a lot of ways of gearing out your alts, but if I want to gear 12 classes as quickly and efficiently as possible, only certain avenues are going to give me the most amount of bank for my time. So during this alt gearing journey, I decided to share my entire battle plan of gearing out my alts and go over all of the different avenues that are worth your time when it comes to gearing and what avenues you should probably avoid if you want to spend as little time on the character but make the most amount of gains possible. As always, if you guys want to see more guides like these for the War Within expansion, be sure to follow the channel and subscribe. Otherwise, let's
bit rates
dive
being erratic. It's not just you.
So the first thing I do on a brand new character is top buy all of the faction vendors. Because of the Warbound Renown system, all of the previous rewards unlocked on my main character, my alts could actually go and claim a lot of those rewards instantly. And every single one of them from the 4 main factions that are available during Season 1 War Within offers that character with a ton of different currencies, starting with a bunch of valor stones.
You know, currencies are always bad in WoW. I'll be honest, it's fucking ridiculous the amount of currencies we have in this game right now. But I'll be honest, the War Within might be the worst ever. I feel like every single faction has different currencies and there's like 3 damn reputation grinds inside of the of these boys right here. Inside of all the Ash Kahet shit, everything. I don't even know what the hell's going on anymore with this stuff. And then we're going to get currencies for the anniversary event, too. I mean, my God, I can't even keep track of it all anymore. I can't. I just, I have to read the text on the currencies now to figure out what the hell I'm supposed to use it for.
There's a bunch of crests, weathered, as well as carved Harbinger crests, and a few other side currencies such as resonance crystals or potentially cash with the Ashkahed faction. But also, every single one of these vendors has gear that you can buy for resonance crystals, which is awarded from just about anything you do when it comes to endgame content or even open world content, and allows you to buy some of the starter gear such as veteran track gear like shoulders, helm, and chest, but also some of the later items depending on your renowned track with boots and bracers and other items also being unlocked, and those items actually come at a champion track or veteran track, which allows the character to have some early gearing opportunities very early on, and allows a fresh new character to start out with a couple of purple items to give him a bit of a head start when it comes to your gearing journey. And the best part is resonance crystals are so plentiful you can just transfer them over from your main character onto your alts, and I feel like I always have some leftover between all of my characters whenever I'm done doing my dailies or any open world activities. So you should almost never be lacking on resonance crystals if you participate in any.
Yeah, I don't feel like resonance crystals are a real issue right now. There are a lot of ways to get them. Basically everything gives them to you, and if you're just doing delves and world quests, you're going to have a lot of these.
Open world content
and
and activities.
Transfer them all over.
Now, another source of getting gear for all of your old characters is actually thanks to the warband system and warbound gear. As I play my main rogue through dungeons, raids, delves, and even open world content, there's a good chance that warbound items may drop for that character, and then you can go store those items in your warbound bank slots. And these items can be anywhere between veteran track or even champion track gear, and it can be anything from weapons to specific armor pieces. And while these items are probably not an upgrade for your main, they're still an upgrade for all of your alts and helps them get a head start before they even begin their own gearing journey. It's not always that you get warbound gear from any of the open world activities, but it seems like the more stuff you do, the higher are the chances of getting warbound loot. and I've been able to get a lot of quality items from my old characters to give them a bit of a head start before I even begin the real gear progression. And I gotta say, the warband gear system might be one of the best systems we've ever seen in a game. Just the whole warband system, from the EXP bonuses to the gear rewards that you can do for your alts, all while playing your main character.
It is great, and not only does it help you, you know, with your alts that you're currently playing, but it also incentivizes alt play, to be honest. Like, I don't play alts. I never. I am my blood DK is me and I'm him. That's it. That's all I play. But doing the raid, right, I got some tier gear. Before I even got tier for my main, I got tier for my mage alt that I haven't played like in 4 expansions. And he used to be my main, and it honestly incentivized me like, hey, maybe I should log in on my mage. And it was Warbound. Like, I could use it for him. So I was, you know, it made me think like, hey, maybe I should get into the mage a little bit. You know, I got some tier now for him. Maybe I can gear him out real quick by just playing my main. And that's what it does, right? And then when you start doing that, okay, you start playing the game a little bit more, spending a bit more time, because now you're playing 2 tunes instead of 1. It's like, it's a win-win for Blizzard. They made it easier on players, but then they're also probably getting people to play a lot more.
I think it's actually one of the best systems they've ever added
we're
of
doing
any
normal
expansion
today.
so far.
I need Valor
Now,
stones.
another quality way of getting some fantastic starter gear for any of your characters is during a time walking week. And time walking weeks offer some of the most efficient alt gearing methods out there. Especially if that time walking event is for one of the older WoW expansions, such as Burning Crusades, Lich King, or Cataclysm, because all of those time walking eras have a raid that's associated to that expansion's time walking week. For example, Time Walking Ulduar is right on the horizon, and every single one of these bosses on Time Walking difficulty drops champion track gear. In some of those instances, such as Ulduar, has a lot of bosses for you to go through, which means there's a lot of chances of you getting potentially gear upgrade and items. But also, the Time Walking weeks offer a weekly quest for either doing 5 Time Walking dungeons or killing 5 Time Walking raid bosses that allows you to obtain normal or champion track gear from the Neurobar Palace. As well as a raid quest just for that Time Walking raid instance, where if you slay the final boss of that raid, be it Illidan of Black Temple, Yogg-Saron of Ulduar, or Ragnaros of Firelands raid, it also awards the hero track gear from Red Raid instance, which for me makes the Time Walking event weeks probably the most lucrative and the most efficient way of getting gear for any of your old characters, because we scale down to the Time Walking instances, which means gear doesn't really matter as of right now.
Not to mention, I don't know if there's going to be another Time Walking event before the anniversary event kicks off. I have to check the in-game calendar. There probably will be. But don't forget, the Time Warp badges are going to be usable in the anniversary event for a lot of the stuff. So this is besides item level. It's not necessarily item level attached, but you know, building up that basically store of Time Warp badges will be a good idea if you want to get a bunch of the transmog and all the other shit that's coming with the anniversary event.
Scaling system does change during the 20th anniversary, but hopefully they'll still allow all of these time walking raids to be easily accessible by fresh new characters, even after the 11.05 update. Now, when it comes to gearing through open world activities, there's really 2 things that you should do every single time.
1.5 million.
The first thing you should do is go to the table over here in Dornogal and pick up your weekly quest. Whether it is from Faerun to do any of the open world activities from World Quest or Ashka Head Daily.
Real tip on this one. This is important. If you pick up one of these and you're not like a big fan of it, abandon it before the end of the week, before the reset. Because if you don't complete it and you don't abandon it, it carries over into the next week and you don't get to pick a new one. So, you know, just be aware of that. Like, if you picked one and you're not the big, if you like it, then keep it. It's fine. But if you're not, like, if the Dawnbreaker, if you always pick the dungeon one and you don't like the Dawnbreaker, abandon it. If you didn't complete it, make sure you abandon it before reset. Otherwise, you do not get to pick between the new ones. It'll just carry over. And I didn't realize that, and then it happened to me, and I was like, oh shit, I don't even get to pick a new quest.
Or even
they don't stack or anything,
or potentially the disc fragment weekly from speaker Brent. And the weekly activity is worth picking up at the start of the week for every one of your characters, because you'll be able to finish it by doing other things in the open world or just by gearing your character, and you'll probably end up accomplishing all of those things automatically without even knowing it. And by doing those weekly activities that awards a currency, gear, and as well as sparks for crafting, which are going to be very, very important if you're trying to catch up on a brand new character. You should also open up the world map to see where the world boss is active. Right now, the world boss, at least for today, is an Ashka Head. I think the next world bosses might actually be in the Isle of Dorn here, but the world bosses are still pretty lucrative on a brand new character.
I haven't gotten
mostly
shit
because
from the
they
world
don't really
bosses.
take long to do at all, and that award you a decent bit of gear if you're lucky to get a single drop.
Yeah.
And from this point forth,
I don't know if they lowered the drop rate on these guys or what, but I've gotten nothing but gold. Like, absolutely freaking nothing, and I've killed 3 world bosses now.
Can participate in other forms of open world progression, but really at this point from here on out, you can start doing some of the more end game activities, which are a little bit better and more efficient when it comes to gear acquisition. And when it comes to PvE content, there are 3 avenues of end-game progression. The first one of which being a raid content within the Season 1 of Nuremberg Palace. Raids generally offer some of the best loot in the game, and they're generally easy to do depending on the difficulty, but can be a little bit hard to get into without a decent item level, especially if you're pugging. Some groups are going to be very, very picky, especially
DJ the Degenerate. What a great name. Thank you. Thank you for the Prime sub, man. Welcome to our Scourge. As a DGen, you have found the correct stream.
They're just trying to have the easiest run in the raid, so they're probably going to require to have some item level to get into the raid. It's kind of a catch-22 system where you need to have gear in order to get into the raid, but to get the gear, you first need to do the raid. And it's just kind of like not a great situation for a lot of players in the PUG world. Of course, you can do the raids on LFR difficulty, which are really easy to get into, and right now they have all of the bosses available, which can hopefully get you started on a couple of key items.
Yeah, I always see people queuing up for the raid, and they're like super low item, like they just hit cap level, item level, and I always tell them, go do LFR, man. Like, don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed by LFR. That shit still gives pretty good gear, so go and do it, and then you'll be prepared for regular raid.
And maybe, hopefully, a little bit closer to you getting your tier set bonus. But when it comes to pugging your character, I would recommend something about 590-ish item level as a minimum for normals, or at least I had a much easier time getting into some of those groups at around 590 item level. Anything below that, I usually would sit on LFG for a while before I even got a single sign up. And while raids are generally good for gear, there isn't a guarantee that you'll be able to get gear at the same time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll get those runs where you just don't get a single drop out of the entire instance. And
I'm currently rocking 2-piece set bonus, and I have gotten 0 tier from raid so far. We've cleared normal twice, halfway cleared heroic, and we're about to do normal a 3rd time. And you know, we do it together all on stream. It's fucking no, it hasn't. It's been dropping. I just can't win a damn roll to save my life. So yeah, that shit happens for sure.
That's something that happened to my mage recently as I'm trying to start working on my ults a little bit more aggressively. I still recommend to do either way, because they reward you quite a bit of the upgrade currencies from Valor Stones to Crests, but also help fill out your Great Vault slots as well, which could potentially drop you tier set items or even some of the raid items as well. But like I said before, it doesn't offer guaranteed gear, just a chance at gear if you're lucky enough to roll high. From there, we have dungeons, and as of this season's dungeon, I actually really enjoy a lot of the dungeons from the Season 1, except for maybe Grim Battle, but the rest of them are generally pretty good.
Yeah, they're
and
pretty
generally,
good.
Mythic Plus system can be great for getting gear and getting...
Look, Mythic Plus is great, but is it me or have delves kind of superseded them? I don't know. Like every week I try to do Mythic Plus for my IO and, you know, to get a chance at some good gear. But I'll be honest, like the most efficient way to get geared right is doing that tier 8 delve every week. Just do 2 of them. That thing, like doing 2 tier 8 delves is like guaranteed you're going to finish it. You're not depending on other people. And it takes about, doing 2 of them probably takes about as long as 1 Mythic Plus dungeon. I feel like I've been doing delves more than dungeons. It's not a feeling, actually. I know I have been. I'm still trying to do as much Mythic Plus as possible. But man, delves are just so good at freaking getting gear.
Character geared out very quickly.
For your vault.
It is a little bit more difficult for a fresh new character to get started with some of the higher end keys, especially if you're trying to farm some of the higher tier crests or even hero track gear, because score and item level are going to matter to random groups. However, if you get your own key from the Mythic Plus vendor, just let them know that, hey, I misplaced my key, and they'll just give you a +2 key. Doing your own key and spamming out lower keys is generally great when it comes to getting a character geared out. Now, Mythic Plus dungeons don't always guarantee gear, but if you can get them done relatively quickly, in an hour you might be able to get a couple of pieces, but also the upgrade currency, which makes dungeons still worthwhile. But
Yeah,
just like the raid that we said,
getting crests and stuff, that's really what Mythic Plus is good for still, is you got to get those crests.
Again, they don't necessarily guarantee you gear, which I think makes raids and dungeons still worth getting into, but that lack of guarantee of gear can sometimes make you feel like you're wasting your time.
Sure.
And if you're someone who doesn't want to feel like you're wasting their time at all, then I introduce you delves. Now, delves are meant to be its own form of fully fledged form of endgame progression that is parallel to dungeons and raids, featuring its own unique gameplay, set of difficulties, as well as its own unique set of rewards. And the best part is, delves can be ran as solo or with a group of players. It's really up to you to make that choice. But you don't necessarily need a specific comp or any specific classes in order to have an easy time with delves. And in fact, any kind of group combination can do them technically, as long as you play your cards right and you play your class optimally. Delves are also very quick and very spammable, as long as you have a few of the delve keys.
Super spammable.
These are pretty easy to unlock by doing a bunch of the open world objectives, whether it is the weekly activities, whether it is the special events or special assignments from doing world quests.
Yeah. And this week, you know, there's two. This week is like a special week for delves. It's the delve special event. There's 2 quests that are going to give you 598 item level champions gear that you can upgrade beyond that. You could do 3 delves for one of the quests, 5 delves for the other quest, and you'll be filling out your vault at the same time. Like, this week is a delves week. You got to do delves. And every other week it's still good to do, but man, this week's extra special. Plus 25% bonus on your coins that you're going to get for the undercoins. You're going to get 25% bonus to brands XP and a 25% bonus to filling out that delve bar, whatever the fuck it's called, I forgot, but the journeyman's bar, whatever the hell it is, to get your dirigible mount and all that other shit.
Participating in bite-sized content such as World Soul Memories, where you go there for a couple of minutes, slay as many enemies as you can, collect shards, and convert them into even more keys. And some of that open world gear can even give you a little bit of gear to fill out your character, like usually veteran track items, which are not amazing, but at least something to get your character going. But the best part about running delves, however, is the fact that they always award you gear. As long as you get to complete that bountiful delve with plenty of lives left over, you get guaranteed champion track items. But also had a chance to loot maps from these.
Oh, surprise.
delves.
Wait, what did he loot? He looted a cape there? Did he loot a cape? I'm convinced that Blizzard's just making it like capes only kind of thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. He opened up the coffer. Yeah, where is it? Where is it, man? I just saw him literally loot a cape. I know I wasn't tripping either. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it scrolling through here. But he definitely looted a... Oh, there it is. There it is. The cloak. Yep. I have 5 cloaks from fucking coffer keys. It's ridiculous. Why? Why do they keep doing that? It's torturous. Because not only do you feel like you just wasted your time doing the delve, the bountiful delve, but you just wasted a coffer key. What the fuck? It's crazy how many of these I've gotten. I don't know what Blizzard put in the code.
Delve of specific tier difficulty.
I keep getting close.
Will have a hidden trove chest at the end of that run if you complete it all the way through. And these Delver's bountiful maps allow you to get even better gear than champion track. In fact, you get hero track items instead, which can award you with even better gear rewards overall. On top of it, by running delves, you also get to fill out your great vault. And depending on the tier or difficulty you get to do, you get different tracks of upgrade. So at tier 8, you get the highest track of 616 hero track items, which allows delves, in my opinion, to be one of the most efficient and one of the best activities that allows you to get guaranteed gear and also respects your time as a player. Whereas with dungeons and raids, you have to find a group and maybe sit in LFG for a while.
I mean, if you have a group together for Mythic Plus, a good group, they're certainly efficient and fun. The problem is with Mythic Plus is you're really dependent on other people, and people abandon that shit all the time. People are just freaking stupid. They don't know how to run things right. They don't know how to do shit. They get frustrated very quickly and just leave. Healers especially. I'm a tank. I know tanks do it too. But I feel like every healer, they're like you'll be 90% of the way through and you wipe for the first time on a trash pull, and the healer's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm gonna go find another group in 3 seconds. And it's fucking ridiculous. And then it'll just abandon the whole run, ruin the whole thing.
While on a fresh new character,
so if you got a group, it's fine. If not, delves are hyper efficient.
You're gonna have a harder time to get into groups compared to your geared main character, but delves allow you to just immediately jump into them, whether you want to do them with pugs or even run them as solo, and are probably the best activities that respect your time.
Sounds like a tank skill issue.
Into that character, allowing you to work towards items directly. And I think it's one of those things that people sleep on pretty regularly. Delves are a new bit of content, so not everybody is going to get into them off the bat, but definitely give them a shot if you're trying to gear out some of your alts. Even if you're somebody who mostly gears to Mythic Plus or through raid content, definitely give Delves a try because it can give you some really great early level items and at least upgrade your character's item level to help you get into dungeons and raids much easier.
Oh yeah,
now, another form of progression that a lot of people skimp out on, in my opinion, is the crafting items because, well, crafting gear can be quite expensive, especially with some of the items costing an arm and a leg.
Look, I'm not gonna say crafting's not good. It's great. I just don't participate in the system. It's too much for my brain. It's too much for me. I just don't do it. I refuse to even interact with it. I know some of my best in slot stuff comes from crafting, but that's a part of the game that I'll just leave on the way. Other people can do that shit. I'm good.
And everything this expansion, especially early on during the season 1, is going to be expensive, I think, for a long while until it eventually settles down as more players get into professions and start flooding the auction house with some of the higher quality items. However, if you get into the professions yourself, like let's say you get a warrior up and running, so you need a bunch of plate items, and you make that warrior their own blacksmith and their own miner to collect ore needed in order to make blacksmithing goods. And if you invest enough time into that profession, you could actually start making your own gear for that character.
I'll be completely honest with you guys. I feel like part of the reason why Blizzard put so much time into reworking the crafting system, fixing the crafting system, fixing and making it more intricate and I guess better is because of the WoW token. Call me cynical, but I just feel like it is such a huge gold sink right now that people who really want to get into crafting and people who want to participate a lot in the crafting system or really get the best in slot shit probably got to buy WoW tokens. And that's just, that's just more profit. It's just how I feel. I could be wrong. But I really feel like this is a profit-building thing, and that's why they focus so much on professions. And that's why they continue to make profession items so important.
Quality crafts. And the whole profession system is actually quite robust. There's a lot that goes into when it comes to making gear, and the entire progression system and the talent system of getting into professions to be able to make items that you need for your character specifically is its own mini game of sorts. But also with a new system of concentration, you could also further increase the quality of those items with a guarantee upgrades. So let's say you're trying to make an item for that character and you could almost get it down to the next rank. You could use concentration to guarantee that the item gets boosted to that next final rank. And I think the addition of concentration when it comes to crafting your gear really does make profession crafting and gearing through professions even more valuable than ever before. And depending how far
you feel like it's the opposite, the way it works is it works both ways, right? The people who are like really good at crafting and crafting shit a ton for other people, they got a lot of gold, right? And the people who don't do a lot of crafting but want the crafted items don't have gold, but they have money. So what are they doing? Well, you get the way the WoW token works is somebody spends money to buy the token and they sell it to somebody with a lot of gold. So the people with a lot of gold are the crafters who are making the items. They buy the WoW token from you who spent money to get the gold so they can interact with the crafting system. And it just keeps doing this. Or this. I don't know what or this. Whatever you want to call it. But it's basically a fuckery system that keeps feeding itself. The crafters have a lot of gold. The people who want the crafted items need gold. Hence, WoW token enters and just keeps funneling on itself. That's how... Like I said, maybe I'm wrong. But that's just how I feel about the crafting system.
How long you are with your renown, you may even be able to get heroic track crests, which allow you to use these enchanted ruin crests in order to upgrade your crafted items to the equivalent to hero track gear quality, which will let you upgrade your crafted items to a maximum item level of 619 if you have the proficiency and concentration to reach rank 5 crafted quality. Another way to get a guaranteed hero track crest is by starting the quest line to slay the Queen Ansarek on story mode difficulty, which any player can do. First thing you do is go to Ashkahet, or the City of Threads rather, and in the center of Ashkahet, above the Arakara city, Executor Nizrek will have a quest called The Beginning of the End, which starts you a quest line to disrupt the City of Threads, causing up a commotion in the royal court, which eventually leads you to slaying the queen in the story mode difficulty. The actual quest itself does not take long to finish out at all, however, and it can be done per character to unlock a hero track item. And at the end of the questline, you unlock the Enchanted Ruin Harbinger Crest, which allows you to make hero track equivalent upgrades with the profession system, which could potentially turn into a guaranteed 619 item level weapon on a character, or help fill out some of the embellishment slots such as the boots, bracers, belt slots potentially, or any of the other slots where your character cannot get any of the favorable secondary stats from raids or even dungeons or even delves. But with that, that's going to be the entire list of things that I do for all of my alts in order to help them get kickstarted and gearing out in order to catch up to my rogue in the War Within of Season 1. As always, I do want to thank all of you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little guide. If you did enjoy it or found it informative in helping you catch up your alts, go ahead and give this video a like. I would very much appreciate it. Join our Discord community where we started to put together some of the video guides in written format, and you can access them there directly. Also, let me know all your thoughts in the comments down below, and I'll see all of you guys in the next one.
Nice work. Yeah, that's a good video. Good one from Dale. Again, so many ways to gear out, so many ways to basically pump up your main and your alts right now. Yeah, crafting is what it is, but also gives some best in slot gear, so that's good. Delves are amazing. Mythic Plus, sure, it's still the same thing it's always been. Tons of ways to gear out through raid. I mean, the variety is never ending, and that's one of the best things about War Within is there's so much variety in what you can do to progress in the game right now. Nice video from Dale.